breaking news for your home. Wayday! Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. Shop Wayfair's Wayday from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
I'm Dr. Amber Wright, and this is Say More, a podcast for accomplished women who want more honesty in the way they live, love, and lead. This is a space for us to explore the questions that shape our lives and deepen our connections with ourselves and each other. If you're finally ready to reclaim the parts of yourself you've given away to everything and everyone else, you're in the right place. It's time to choose yourself. It's time to say more. Hey, friend. Welcome back to another episode of Say More with Dr. Amber. Today, I'm about to get in that ass a little bit, okay? I love you. I mean it. I promise. However, we have something that we need to talk about. We have been on this journey of coming home to yourself. This season is all about the reclamation, okay? Reclaiming the parts of yourself that you have given away to everything and everyone else. And so today we need to talk about why you're doing that in the first place. And I call it owning your overwhelm. I tell my clients, I tell people all the time that you are responsible. You have to be accountable for your participation in your overwhelm. And this is going to be hard for some of you to hear because you love to tell everybody yes. Everybody and their mama needs something. Everybody at work, you baking cookies for the bake sale down to the church. You are staying late for work because you feel like that's going to help you get a promotion. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You say yes anytime anyone dials your phone and asks you for something. And that could be because you are genuinely a generous person. And I'm not trying to talk you out of that. I'm a generous person. I love to give of myself. I love very fully, and I'm very loyal as a Virgo. And if I call you friend, I mean that. I mean it from my heart. And that's why I call you friend here on this podcast, because I want you to feel like we're friends, even though you don't really know me, but that's okay. We're getting to know each other. All right. This is a friendship in process. However, what I see often is that your yes is weak as hell. No, just kidding. Your no is weak as hell. You say yes when you really want to say no. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because I want you to get out of that cycle of overextending yourself to your detriment under the guise of benevolence and wanting to overgive of yourself. So we're talking about the context in which you are perpetually overwhelmed and you know it, but you don't want to be that way anymore. You want to reclaim your time. Like, oh girl, our favorite Maxine Waters said that popularized that phrase. I'm reclaiming my time. So anyway, okay, let me get off on this tangent of a river that I'm flowing down. So here's the honest truth. I feel like you say yes when you want to say no because you're afraid. You're afraid of disappointing people or losing relationships or being seen as selfish. Like, oh, what are they going to think of me if I don't go to brunch on Sunday? What are they going to say if I don't volunteer for this committee or whatever the thing is? And you've been conditioned in some ways to believe that your value comes from being helpful and available and overly accommodating to people. So you don't really listen to yourself and you end up saying yes and going against your first mind, like we talked about in the previous episode. And then you do stuff that you don't want to do. And so saying yes is, ends up, it's not always, but it can become a form of self-abandonment. It's a way in which you betray yourself because you know you don't want to go to the brunch. You know you don't want to do that. You tired. It's been a long week. And all you want to do is lay up in your bed and rub your feet together and watch Netflix or whatever the case is. Read a good book because you have a lot going on. And this particular weekend, you just want to be at home. But you say yes, even though it's loud and they doing hookah and the bill's going to be exorbitant. Not because you don't enjoy it. You do enjoy it. But this particular weekend, maybe you want to stay home. But you say yes anyway. Now you go with an attitude. And then the one friend who talked too much or she talked too loud, now she on your nerves and you just rolling your eyes. And now you not making it fun because you didn't really want to be there in the first place. You know what I'm talking about. You know. And maybe it's not brunch, it's something else. But you've been in this situation before. And you did that because you were afraid of what they were going to say if you were just like, no, thanks. This weekend I'm going to stay home. Or just say no, because no is a complete sentence. But all of that qualifying, all of that explaining, all of that, again, overextending is out of fear and out of this idea that if you are not always available to everyone and to everybody, that they're not going to love you. And I don't want to be the first person to tell you this. And so I'm sorry if I am, but I'm also glad that I am to say that you're worthy of being loved just as you are. You don't got to prove that time and time again to people. And if you feel like you have to, then you have to reevaluate that relationship. If you think that this friend or this partner or this job is ain't no job gonna love you, okay? Because let me also be clear. But when we're talking about our relationships, if you feel like it only works because you have to abandon yourself as the cost of admission to the relationship, then we need to be having a different conversation. You need to call me today so we can do coaching, honey. And you need to find a therapist so we can work through all that because you are worthy just as you are. And the people who see how valuable you are and how much you add and bring to their lives, they're going to want you to do what's best for you. So I feel like, you might need to be reminded of that sometimes. This notion of saying yes when you want to say no is just, people pleasing in a costume for kindness when it's really your fear of other people's opinions and how they're going to see you that's keeping you stifled. And this is me reporting live from the scene as a former people pleaser. Nothing I tell you or I talk about on this podcast are things that I don't have experience with. When we start businesses, there's a saying in entrepreneurship that you are your first customer. Many times people start businesses because of an experience that they had that they didn't see the resources for in the way that they wanted. So they create it. Entrepreneurship 101 is to find a need and fill it. And sometimes it's not until you've gone through a few things that you're like, hey, I wish I would have had this when I was going through something. I see that a lot now with people who get divorced, for example, like women, they go through really tumultuous divorces and then they start businesses to help other people navigate the same thing, right? It's that kind of context. So for me, as a high achiever, as a former people pleaser, as someone who didn't know how to trust myself and trust my own voice in the past, I am reporting live from the scene as someone who's done the work. And hopefully by me sharing these stories and these examples and experiences, you can not skip the line because everybody has to do their own work and your journey is going to be uniquely your own. But hopefully it helps you think differently about the patterns and the behaviors that are keeping you stuck, because this podcast is intended for people who want to change. You recognize that these things are happening in your life, but you're not quite sure what to do about them. This is for you. I created this space for you. So if you are that type of person who just bends the knee at every turn, then we've got to sit with that and really think about what's the root cause of that choice. Why do I feel like I have to overextend myself so often in order to be seen or to feel valued or to feel worthy? Because something else that, I want you to consider is that sometimes your yes to someone else means a no for you. So I mentioned that, I kind of painted that picture with the brunch example when you really know that you need that rest. But it feels like that's not a good enough reason. So you go anyway. that's, again, a form of self-abandonment because you're telling yourself, well, you don't really deserve the rest, even though you just closed this deal at your job and, won a new client or whatever the thing is that you did. And you don't even have to earn rest also, too. I'm not even saying that. I'm not trying to tell you that you have to earn rest, but you know what I'm saying, that that if you do this thing that someone's asking you to do that you don't really want to do, you're going to do it begrudgingly and you're going to resent them for it when you're really mad at yourself. So I just want you to keep in mind that when you're trading your time and your energy and your well-being for the comfort of not disappointing others, that greater disappointment is going to cost you more. So this notion about reclaiming the parts of yourself that you give away to everyone, there's nothing wrong with being a good parent and being present, doing all the things that you can do, but some things you're not going to be able to do. And I realized that as a mom, I could give my kids my very best or what I consider to be my best, and they may feel like it's not enough. They will still end up on some therapist's couch because my mama didn't bake the cookies for the PTA meeting. They don't even do that no more because, kids be having allergies and stuff. But I travel often for work, or now it's more occasionally, but part of my job requires me to be away from home. So I've never been the frontline parent in the classroom. I've never been a room mom. Now, my little one, she'd be pressing me a couple years ago for their holiday party. She was like, Mom, did you know that we were having a party on this day? And I said, yes, I did, baby. Why? She said, because if you didn't know, I wanted to make sure you knew so you could come. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to be there, girl. Sis, I'm going to be there. And I was there with bells on because my baby was like, do not even play with me. You better be down to the holiday party, mommy. So, I am there and she doesn't have to drag me out of the house every time. When I try to be present in the ways that I can, I communicate with her teachers. I engage with them. I give money when I can. I will give money to the room mom who will go down to the Dollar Tree to buy the supplies that they need for whatever craft they're doing in the classroom. That's how I choose to show up in that way. But the point of all of that is saying, there can be these contexts and environments where you do want to show up and you do want to give, but I'm talking about those times when you know that you are giving so much of yourself and you're staying up till 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning working on the science project. And that's teaching your kid not to be responsible with their own time and finish their own project. Doesn't mean you can't help them, but I know that you know what I'm getting at here. The ways in which you overextend because of some type of performance of whatever the role is, mom, wife, professional, business owner, whatever. There's some type of script that you feel like you have to follow, or maybe you're trying to fill somebody else's footsteps and you're not living authentically. And that's why it's time out for all of that. You have to remember that your yes has a cost and you're the only one who can pay it. So you have to decide what is worth it to you and what isn't. And this prioritizing of everyone else's needs over your own is not sustainable. You're going to have a breakdown at some point. If you have a vehicle and you don't put oil in the vehicle, that thing's going to break down. Ask me how I know. Because one time I was stuck on a freeway in Los Angeles. My very first car died on the freeway because I didn't know I had to put oil in it. Okay. Ignoring the little sign. It was a tough time. The late 90s. Don't worry about it. Anyway. This is a lot. Even as I'm talking about it, I'm like, I just see it so often how this chronic commitment to saying yes all the time just leads to burnout and resentment. And it's really sweet, this idea that someone's going to come and say, no, girl, take a nap. You don't have to. You don't need to do that. That's great. And sometimes that will happen, but most times it won't. And then you mad at everybody because they don't see how exhausted you are, but you have trained them to see you as the Energizer Bunny and someone who can go, who's going to always be there and who doesn't know how to say no, to have boundaries. And that's what I want you to think differently about. I'm having this conversation now with my mother-in-law. Like, she's done so much for us as a young family, and she's poured so much into us. I've never paid for a babysitter, for example, because she's always been right there if I needed her to be with our kids. She really kind of functions as a third parent. But anyway, now I'm like, girl, the kids are older now. This is your time. This is your season to leave us be and go and do what you want to do. Go travel while you're able-bodied, while you have the cognitive function and ability. She's in her early 70s. She's only 71. But, while you still got some good years left, you need to, because these kids are going to leave. They're going to grow up. And they're not going to be checking for none of us. And when that time comes, I'm going to be gone too. I'm going to be in the streets, okay? When my babies are off to college, I will be in them streets. Traveling the world, seeing it all, doing all the things. Okay, I'm not waiting until retirement. I'm waiting till these babies graduate and are off in college, doing their thing. Still supporting them, of course, but also very much living my own life in the way that I do now in some respects. But I'm trying to encourage her to, it's okay to spend money on herself sometimes and to do things for herself. And she's kind of convinced herself like, oh, but you guys, like, well, when are the kids? And I'm just like, they are not toddlers anymore. They are self-sufficient, independent kids with good heads on their shoulders. It's okay. It's okay for you to invest in yourself in the way that you have invested in us. But these boomers, child, they don't be listening. So I'm working on this even with her, someone in that age class. So if you're thinking like, okay, Dr. Amber, this is great. You're talking to me. You're ringing my bell. You dialing my number. Well, what am I supposed to do? And I feel you. And I have been there. So something that I think I want you to know when it comes to learning how to reclaim your yes is just know that you're allowed to have boundaries without justifying them. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed. It's okay. That makes you a competent and capable, fully realized adult to say, no, thank you. I would not like to attend, or I will not be attending, period. Thank you so much for the invitation. I will not be attending. If there's a project at work, if I say yes to this, these are the things that I'm saying no to. These are my priorities currently that we agreed upon, manager, that I should be focusing on this quarter. So this new project that you're asking me to do, happy to do it. But if I say yes to this, these are the things that I'm saying no to. Are you comfortable with me deprioritizing these other things? None. Very simple, clear, and direct. Okay. You are allowed to draw boundaries and to say no. There's that notion that to be clear is to be kind and to be unclear is unkind. Brene Brown is attributed to that quote, but if you read her talking about that quote, she did not come up with it, but she has popularized it. But anyway, the notion remains that a clear no is kinder than a resentful yes. Don't do nothing begrudgingly. Because again, now you're going to do it with an attitude. And the moment they piss you off, now you're ready to pop off on everybody. Or now you blocking people, or you don't want them to call you no more or whatever because you're mad at yourself. So that's not kind to them. It's just better to be honest and say, I will not be able to attend or support you in this. I'm not able to lend you $100. And if you still want to help them, I can give you $20, but not $100, whatever that looks like. Okay. People will adjust. I promise you they will. And if they cut up and act the fool, then they're telling on themselves. And you needed to know that anyway. You really get to see who's down for you and who isn't when you start drawing boundaries, when you stop being the one that reaches across the table every single time, the first one to always, work to repair. And these are skills that we need to have, conflict management and all that. But you know what I'm saying? You're the one that's always giving, the one that's always calling, the one that's doing all of the emotional labor in the relationship. And you're the only one who can make it different if you want it to be different. Your no makes space for what actually matters to you. And you're the only one who knows what that is and can decide to make it so. Okay? So some things that I want you to remember is that when you feel that guilt coming up, remind yourself that my no is protecting my yes. What do I want to say yes to? What makes me come alive? What feels like a good fit or a good match for me right now? What will support my well-being? How do I want to show up in this season of my life? Those are the things that you're saying yes to. Your no protects that. And something I want you to try this week is to say no to something without apologizing or explaining. I'm sorry, but I can't. There's nothing to apologize for. I won't be able to do X thing, but thank you for asking. However you want to be diplomatic about it, do that. Go forth and be strong, okay? You can do it. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but you can do it. Because remember what it's costing you not to. Okay, love you, mean it. Bye. Thanks for listening to Say More. If this episode hit home for you, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another one. And don't forget to share it with your group chat so all of y'all can level up together. If you want personalized support about today's topic, visit wordswellsaid.com to learn more about how to work with me for coaching or how you can book me to speak at your job, conference, or event. In the meantime, keep in touch with me online at Dr. Amber Wright. And until you hear from me again, remember to use your words and then go forth and be awesome.